In what is now northwestern Italy in the Republic of Genoa, Christopher Columbus was born, even though it had relatively poor beginnings for what he subsequently became. His father was a middle-class wool merchant. Early in life, Columbus learned how to sail. Later, he worked as a business agent, traveling through Europe to England and Ireland before heading down the west coast of Africa. He wasn't a scholar, but he was a passionate self-learner who studied a lot about astronomy, science, and navigation. His command of Latin, Portuguese, and Spanish also improved. While some Christians still subscribed to the notion that the world was flat, Christopher Columbus believed that the globe was round. Christopher Columbus was an ambitious man who sought to establish a trading route from the west to Asia's rich spice trade. He believed that traveling west would take him to nations like China and Japan rather than traveling east. He went to the Catholic Monarchs of Spain in order to obtain the resources and assistance required for his expeditions. He stated that one of his goals for making his offer was to help bring Christianity to heathen lands in the East. In addition to supporting Christian missionary work, the Spanish kings consented to finance Columbus in order to obtain an advantage in the lucrative trading markets. Exploration to the west had the benefit of avoiding conflict with the Ottomans' expanding influence in the east.
I should not proceed by land to the east, as is customary, but by a westerly route. In which direction? We have hitherto no certain evidence that anyone has gone. Journal of the First Voyage, August 3, 1492. Diary entry.
Columbus' first voyage was completed in 1492. He had intended to sail to Japan, but ended up in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador. In total, Columbus made 4 voyages during which he extensively circled the Caribbean islands of Cuba, Jamaica, and the Bahamas, as well as the mainland, visiting locations like Panama. America was not first colonized by Christopher Columbus. Leif Erikson's Norse mission was one of the earlier expeditions that was successful. Columbus, however, was the first to see the continent and found permanent settlements. Over the following 100 years, Columbus' expeditions and reports inspired all the major European nations to want to colonize sections of America. Columbus was an expert navigator who had a great deal of faith in the potential of exploration. He wrote in his journal entries that his steely determination kept the group together when they thought they would never make it to land.
Here the men lost all patience and complained of the length of the voyage, but the admiral encouraged them in the best manner he could, representing the profits they were about to acquire, and adding that it was to no purpose to complain, having come so far. They had nothing to do but continue on to the Indies, till with the help of our Lord they should arrive there. Diary entry, October 10, 1492.
His dictatorial leadership style, however, caused conflict aboard the boats he commanded. Columbus was a devout Christian, and sailors who had a more grounded and pragmatic outlook on life did not appreciate his inclination to be sanctimonious and critical of others' flaws. He was religious in certain ways, but he also held the then common belief that because European Christians adhered to the one true religion, they had moral superiority. Although Columbus restrained some of his crew's worst excesses, he nonetheless confiscated natives' possessions and made them into slaves. Columbus was designated viceroy and governor of the Indies on the island of Hispaniola by the Spanish monarchs. As part of the agreement, he also gave his brothers the authority to serve as governor. But in 1500, Columbus was detained and put in chains at the Spanish monarchy's command. The governorship of the new colonies was accused of being ineffective, unruly, and to engaging in barbarous methods. Columbus and his brothers were released from jail after several weeks, but Columbus was no longer permitted to serve as the governor of Hispaniola. Columbus developed a stronger religious belief as he neared death. He had a fascination with biblical prophecy in particular, and produced his own book of prophecies 1505. He was also dissatisfied with his lack of popularity and what appeared to be his diminution in the eyes of the Spanish kings. He addressed the kings in a letter in 1503 and expressed his sense of unrecognized sacrifice.
I came to serve you at the age of 28, and now I have not a hair on me that is not white, and my body is infirm and exhausted. All that was left to me and my brothers has been taken away and sold, even to the cloak that I wore, without hearing or trial, to my great dishonor. Letter Rarissima to the Sovereigns, 4th voyage, 7 July 1503.
At the age of 54, Columbus passed away in 1506 from a heart attack brought on by reactive arthritis. Undoubtedly, Columbus' health suffered due to the rigors of his naval voyage. He was frequently in physical agony from his travels at the end of his life. Many European Americans hold Columbus in high regard as the person who contributed to the globalization of America in Spain and the Americas. October 12th is recognized as Columbus Day. Some hold a more pessimistic perspective of Columbus, claiming that his so-called discovery was not actually a discovery because the area was previously inhabited, and that because of his activities, the subsequent European colonizations resulted in the mistreatment and genocide of the Native Americans who already lived there.